What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. In this video, we're jumping into Battleworld with issue number 3. And I'm actually really excited about this one because this is Starbrand versus all of our heroes. Now, if you haven't been keeping up with Battleworld, this is really just a patchwork planet. Portions of various timelines throughout the multiverse plucked from those specific places and put together as one just giant planet. This is all done by Corvac, and our heroes just got done defeating Arcade in Murder World. So when we pick up there, they're all sitting here discussing what comes next. Now, Hank is able to take Arcade's technology and reuse it. He gives Carol Danvers a device to wear on her skull. It'll give her most of the abilities that Arcade had here in Murder World. Obviously not controlling the environment, but force fields, energy blasts, that's all gonna function as long as the power supply does. And Carol's already pretty powerful, but they're gonna be going against Corvac. His power is essentially godlike. So combining Arcade's God mode tech with her energy, her ability to absorb energy, they might have a chance. Now at this point in Carol's life, she has just gotten sober. She's just back on the Avengers, at least in her world. So taking on this amount of responsibility, this amount of power, she's not really sure if she wants to do it. But Hank tells her, like, you're a distinguished Air Force pilot, officer. You're a hero. What you have overcome is a sign of strength, not of weakness. And from here, you're gonna rise much higher than you ever thought was possible. So when I give this to somebody, when I give this to you, there is nobody that I trust more. With this being able to raise up her confidence enough to be able to do this, as she leaves, we do see that Wasp has a conversation with Hank. And she tells him, like, you don't make sense. You're both stronger and weaker than the Hank that I knew. Because he would have used that tech for himself, or he would have made one for each of them. Now, Hank goes on to say that the source of the power, it was limited. You can make one really strong one or a bunch of really weak ones. Wasp continues to say, my Hank, and finally, Hank's like, your Hank is dead. He's very blunt about it, but he's like, you know, he was reckless. He fought Zemo, probably due to an undiagnosed bipolar disorder, and he paid for it with his life. That's where all his confidence has always come from. Manic energy, followed by depressive episodes locked away in his lab. That if he had lived, it would have gotten worse. Because what you had to look forward to is me building a genocidal robot called Ultron, marry you in a completely different persona, have several mental breakdowns, get suspended from the Avengers, build another killer robot that attacks the Avengers that I planned to save so I could get back onto the Avengers. And then I hit you when you try to stop me. I go to jail. That was my rock bottom. And man, was it a ways down. Really, what he is saying is that you gotta stop mourning Hank. He was not a man deserving of your mourning. But while the two of them have this conversation, this is where he notices something. A symbol that is unmistakable. There is a Starbrand here on Battleworld. And Hank knows that if we can get this Starbrand on our side, with that and Carol and Arcade's technology, we actually might be able to beat Corvac. We might be able to take him down. But coming to this conclusion, this is also where they're met by the Absorbing Man. And he's pretty much kicking everybody out. Absorbing Man is saying that you guys, you're ruining my marriage. Hank and Wasp arguing the entire time. Titania keeps on hearing this and she's like, is this how we're gonna end up? But nonetheless, they had to head out and try to face this Starbrand, try to see what's up with him, see if they can get him on their side. That's what takes them to Hickory, Pennsylvania. This is a suburb of Pittsburgh. Now, Hank and Carol, they're the two that go in and try to talk to him. Let him know, like, we're not here to fight, that we're Avengers. We're defenders of this world like you, using our powers to try and help. And what we're asking is for your help, that together we can stop the person that brought us here and get us back to our worlds. But Starbrand, he already had a conversation with Corvac. See, half the people on his planet hate each other, the other half hate the other half. They all seem hell-bent on nuking each other, and it's only gotten worse in his eyes. So after talking to Corvac and having an opportunity To make a better world, he'll try to convince Corvac to let them be a part of it. With a blinding light, this fight gets underway. Now as Starbrand just starts unleashing on everybody, King Thor comes in and just hits him across the face. Knocking him down for a moment, it allows everybody to jump on him. But when everybody gangs up on him, what we also see is all the townspeople, they come flooding into the streets. And when they do so, they start trying to take on the heroes because they're attacking Ken. Now at this point, things look like they might be going sideways. All of these people attacking them, Starbrand, able to hold off everybody. They tell Carol to use Arcade's tech. As Allfather stands against him, Starbrand versus Thor. These two are exchanging blows, but when Thor charges in, we see a huge burst come out of Starbrand, and from behind him, Carol Danvers. She grabs hold of him and takes him up into the air, and while here, she's trying to convince him that Corvac is not a good guy and you shouldn't be listening to him. But while they're battling, Corvac recognizes what Carol's doing. She is absorbing his energy, creating some distance. That's when he charges straight at her. But Carol dodges it, and she tells him, like, are you insane? Because a collision like that so close to this town, the shockwave would kill all those people down there. That's when Starbrand looks down and he didn't even think about the people. He didn't even consider them. Carol just realized he has no idea what the hell he is doing. This is when he unleashes. He says, I know what I'm doing. That I took out a dirty bomb. I cleaned up toxic waste. I stopped nuclear war. He grabs hold of her and says, if you want to absorb all of my power, you want to know what it's like, then take it. And Carol doesn't hesitate. She says, I can. I know it now, and I'm going to. Now Starbrand's like, wait, stop, hold on, don't do this just yet. But with a burst of energy, we see Ken knocked unconscious, at least just for a second, and Carol, she's powered up. As they come back down to the ground, King Thor grabs him and smashes him into the concrete. But even that's not enough to keep him down. So they have one last Hail Mary pass that they're gonna try. They're gonna use the Spirit of Vengeance, and she is finally gonna do a penance stare. Looking into the eyes of Starbrand, he begins to feel the pain inflicted on others that he has caused. This Starbrand is responsible for a great deal of pain. As we see the townsfolk, they begin to disappear. This town, these people, it only exists because of Starbrand. Now, each universe has its own Starbrand, but the wielders are different. This one is Kenneth Connell. As this battle had progressed, Hank was wondering why this Starbrand wasn't stronger than he is. Not only should his power levels be higher, his instruments were indicating that he was using a large portion of his energy somewhere else. Then he realized all the civilians, they attacked at the same time, like a hive mind. That's when it all fell into place. In this Starbrand's universe, he tried to rid himself of the Starbrand by transferring it to an inanimate object. But the Starbrand can only be given to other living beings. Otherwise, there's a massive release of energy, a blast that disintegrated the city of Pittsburgh. Those shockwaves destroyed even the suburbs, including the one that they're in right now. With the help of Kushala, she creates an illusion and shows the person that gave him the Starbrand to begin with. Hank is really telling him, like, it's my fault all this happened because you weren't qualified to wield the Starbrand. That I should have seen it. That it was all too much for you. It just really digs into him, telling him that he always fails. He always does the wrong thing. He tells him that you were really just a mistake. He does all of this so that he can take the Starbrand from him. And Hank will go on to say that he didn't enjoy saying any of that. Now, Mr. Connell's gonna retain 10% of the Starbrand power. 10% of infinity. Over time, it will build back up to its original level. Fact of the matter is, they're lucky they faced him soon after the last time that he gave it away. Had he been at full power, this wasn't a match that they could have won. And while they may look like they're ready to face Corvac, Hank says that he's not sure if they're there yet. He wants to observe the Starbrand a little bit more and try to fully understand it before transferring it all again, just to ensure that there's no catastrophic explosions or things of that nature. But they're gonna have to pick up their timeline, because this is where we have the arrival of Corvac. And Corvac tells him, like, you really thought running some spells would stop me from seeing this battle unfold? Are you so arrogant to think that I wouldn't see this? Are you so arrogant that you think the world would operate on your timetable? He tells him that Battleworld is mine, and this rebellion of yours has gone on long enough. That is where this issue will end. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. I really am enjoying this Battleworld. Not only did we get Arcade and the introduction of Murder World into Battleworld, which is absolutely phenomenal, but we also get to see a Starbrand. And they didn't depower this Starbrand into like a, oh, well, that's just plot armor. Like, this actually makes sense. Hank even comes out and he's like, you know, we wouldn't have been able to defeat a fully powered Starbrand. This Starbrand just so happened to be plucked from a time where he caused an explosion, getting rid of a good amount of his power. Now, his power's been building up, but he wasn't at full strength. Add in Carol Danvers, her ability to absorb his energy. Add on top Arcade's god tech. You've created a situation where you can actually defeat a Starbrand. The thing I like most about this series is it's just the writing's consistent. It makes sense for the story that they're telling. And it's just, honestly, these days is so rare that it's not like, all right, well, I'm gonna make concessions because they have to make the story make sense, they have to drive the plot forward, etc., etc. It is honestly rare these days that we get good, cohesive writing that just makes sense from start to finish. Now, we haven't got to the finish line yet. I may be speaking too soon. But this issue number 3 was really well written. The artwork was phenomenal. The battle against Starbrand absolutely made sense. I loved it. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your theories. If you want to get caught up on everything that has been going on with Battleworld, check out the link in my description as well as the top of this video. That's going to get you caught up on everything that is going on with this series so far. If you would like to support the channel, you can always do so by joining the channel membership. This is a lot like Patreon, having multiple different tiers from $1 to $50. It really does help out the channel tremendously, and it gives you a bunch of perks in the process. But if you're not able to do that, please do me the favor, subscribe to the channel, like this video, hit that notification bell, and with that being said, until the next breakdown.